For high school players watching who might not be the biggest on their team, like yourself, what specific techniques or mental approaches have helped you excel despite not having the typical rugby player build?
Yeah, I think, for me, for example, I mean, there's always those doubts and always those comments that he's too small for rugby and all of that. But like, I mean, I've had quite a good support system. My parents are very supportive. If I'm being honest, coaches have also been quite supportive. But on a more personal thing like that a person can do, I think just focus on your progress. I always speak about it's always you versus you. So focusing on where you were yesterday, where you were last week as compared to this week. So if in the previous week you missed 2 kicks, or for example you got 5 out of 7, aim for that the following week you get 6 out of 7, even 7 out of 7. So it's always this thing of looking at yourself rather than others, because what I believe is that we all different and we all have our own gifts, our own abilities. So if you can literally focus on your skill, on your superpower, then if you focus on improving that, it doesn't matter what anyone says. And use my story, for example, like take inspiration from that, knowing that rugby is a game for people of different sizes. Just make sure that you focus on your craft and you perfect that, and I think the sky is not the limit. Yeah.
You talked about your journey from small town to the biggest stages in rugby. What advice would you give to talented young players from rural or less privileged backgrounds about creating opportunities for themselves?
I think the recipe to anything, or doing good at anything, is just making sure that you put in your hours, and just know that there's always someone watching, especially in this digital era and the social media era. There's always people on the lookout. So I think for you up and coming, you might not have the resources, but make sure that you work on your craft, whether it be kicking, whether it be speed, whether it be strength, whether it be skills. Just make sure that you are your best self, and trust me, someone is always looking and someone will give you the opportunity. And also, let's say maybe you come from a small school. Now there's this new university system that you see that high level coaches are looking at, like the Varsity Cup. So your next aim is to make sure that you're focusing on your academics, to ensure that you get into university and create more opportunities for yourself. To reach for your dream, if it is rugby. And I'm sure in any other varsity sport, whether it's soccer, it's kind of the same. There's opportunity at universities. So just focus on your craft to make sure that you try and get that balance academically as well, to set yourself up for success.
Okay, how would having access to platforms like High School Rugby World as a schoolboy have affected your perspective of the level of schoolboy rugby in SA?
Yeah, I think, coming across a page like that, you see the amount of talent there is, but it also inspires you as an individual to make sure that you put in the work, because you see there's so many people good out there. So if you want to be the difference, if you want to make it out there, it inspires you to keep going, but it also keeps you in check. Like, you can't relax because everyone's on the prowl, everyone's wanting to make it big. So I think also a page like High School Rugby is, it gives a platform for younger kids. It gives the coaches a platform to look at younger kids up and coming. So like I said, you as a kid, there's always someone watching. So you might go to a match and it's recorded. Next thing you find yourself on the platform, a coach comes across that, and things come together for you. So going back to my main point, just make sure that you're your best self and you're performing your best, and someone will see your talent and will take it from there, I guess.
What roles do communities like High School Rugby will play in ensuring that hidden talent doesn't go unnoticed?
Yeah, I think like literally what I said before, it's given a platform for both coaches and players. Platform for coaches that they have somewhere to look at, to refer to if they're looking for the next up and coming. And also for players, it's like keeping a player in check and making sure and knowing that there's always someone watching. So that inspires each and every individual to make sure that they do their best at whatever opportunity they're given.
Can you name some current high school rugby ballers that you think have a chance of going pro?
I don't want to jinx it, man. Like, I think everyone who's playing, well, a lot of kids, even back in my day, they wanted to make it pro. So I don't want to point out specific names and like demotivate other people. I just believe like if you have that work ethic and that drive, you have the ability to make it. So obviously there are standout players, and I think you'll obviously see them in the Craven system and SA school system. But like for example, like I said, the university system as well is another platform. So if you don't make it now in Craven Week or in your high school, there's still another level in which you can make it. So yeah, I mean there are a few pollers, but I'd rather not mention.
Well, what are some of the fears that high school rugby players have going into the final year of rugby at school?
I think similar to me, I'll obviously use my own experiences. It was like, okay, what happens after school? I think before, the biggest thing was to try and get a junior contract or contract at one of the big four unions, which are Sharks, Lions, Stormers, Bulls. But like I said, now that there's other avenues in which coaches look at, like the Varsity Cup, for example, it gives children more opportunity, and it also gives them an opportunity to study. So the biggest thing, like in matric now, like I said, you focus on what's next, but now that there's a platform like Varsity Cup, you also realize that you need to focus on your academics, ensuring that there's a balance between both your academics and your sporting to set yourself up for success going forward.
Now, what is the best way for players who maybe are not contracted or maybe not part of the Craven League setup to approach coaches at different universities? What's the best approach that you use in order to get, obviously receive a bursary or acceptance to the university rugby program?
Yeah, I think best approach, I think it's academic approach. Regardless, if you get into the university, you're heading in the right direction, and you're already halfway there. Even if you don't get an offer, necessarily there and then, but once you train with the team, the coaches have an eye for hard workers, and like I said, I believe that if you are a hard worker and you work on your craft, someone will see. So the more you in that environment with the coaches at university space, the more you train with the players, I think once you've obviously earned your ranks, then you can approach your coach, be like, okay, can I compete, to be part of maybe the Varsity Cup team, or maybe look for funding. But I think the main thing is to just focus on academics if you don't have an offer, to ensure that you get into the university, and then you take it from there.
Okay. Thank you very much, Makhaza, for the interview.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.